On this episode of the Josh Kirby on Sports podcast, we will be taking a look at this crazy weekend of the National Football League, including the Miami Miracle, the Panthers losing 5 straight, and the Redskins upsetting loss to the New York Giants. Also, we will have a little breakdown of college football on this episode. That's all coming your way next, so stay tuned.
Oh, indeed. I'm glad you connected. This is Dave Johnson, voice of the Washington Wizards. You have connected to the right place because you are listening to my man, Josh Kirby on Sports Podcast.
All righty. Episode 17 of the Josh Kirby on Sports Podcast kicks off right now. I'm joined, as always, by my wonderful co-host, CJ Mentier. CJ, how we doing today, sir?
Well, I got a pretty big headache right now, Josh. This past weekend in football, I was very frustrated, but we're keeping on, moving on. My Steelers didn't play well, and so did your Redskins. But let's talk some sports right now.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. So, CJ, number one, I'm not sure why you put the Titans and the Jaguars in this podcast, but the only good thing I got from this game is Derrick Henry's 99-yard touchdown run. And he told not one, not two, but 3 people to take a seat.
Yep. Well, it was also crappy tackling, too. I don't understand why teams just can't learn how to tackle a big guy like that, because they only gave him the ball 17 times. He amassed over 238 yards. You want to talk about establishing the run game? I want to go for Tennessee right now because 17 carries, 238 yards, 32 total carries, 264 yards. And Derrick Henry is the second player in NFL history to now have a 99-yard touchdown run. Now, Tony Dorsett and Derrick Henry are the only 2 players to have that. And even Tony Dorsett tweeted at Derrick Henry saying, "Nice job." So
stats in this game. Obviously, the run ratio was the big difference. The Titans, 264 yards, and the Jaguars only 20 carries for 60 yards. Yeah. And another thing, Cody Kessler was playing because Blake Bortles was benched.
He gets his second start after a win against Indianapolis. Is the wrong team to go up against because, as I said before, the kryptonite of Jacksonville is the Tennessee Titans. And once again, now for the second time, you lose 2 games to Tennessee now in the same year. So,
yeah, the kryptonite of the Jaguars definitely has come back again.
And even against Cody Kessler now, too. Blake Bortles can't figure it out. Cody Kessler can't figure it out. The Titans roll. Now they're 7-6. And guess who they got coming up here this week, Josh?
I'd have to say
they're going to have another inconsistent team coming up here again. And I don't understand.
The Steelers.
No. You know I'm going to the Steelers game this weekend. Come on.
Oh,
now.
yeah, that's right. The
Titans have the New York Giants. And they know how to run the football. We'll get into that later. But the Titans roll 30-9 over the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Definitely. And the next game we want to go into, the Browns moving right along, and the Panthers lose 5 in a row. What's going on with the Panthers organization right now?
And I want to ask you a question. Was this win more about Cam Newton playing through injury, you think? Or is it about Baker Mayfield just balling out? I want to ask you that. Which one do you think is true?
I still think Baker is a rookie, obviously. I think he has great potential since with the Browns coaching changes and everything. He has great potential, but I feel like it was more the the
injury to Cam Newton.
Yeah, the injury to Cam Newton.
Something's not going right here, man. Like I said, you heard me say it. I was scared when Pittsburgh played them on a Thursday night. They were 6-2 at that time. and they got throttled. They got 56 points scored on them. And Cam Newton, I don't know if it's a shoulder injury or a back injury or whatever, but he has struggled significantly. And now, I thought that the Browns would come back to reality after they lost to the Texans. And they go back home and they beat the Panthers. Did you see any of the highlights in this game? They used Jarvis Landry in a rushing formation in this game as a running attack. He had 2 carries for 80 yards. 2 carries for 80 yards, and also they found a new weapon in Brashard Perryman, the Ravens' first-round draft pick in 2015 out of Central Florida. They found a new weapon to use him. Of course, he had injury-plagued seasons with the Ravens, but I don't understand this loss. The Panthers win time of possession, total yards, and even the turnover battle, and you still lose. 25 carries, 96 yards total. Once again, McCaffrey does it all. He does it all. And my goodness, I don't get it. I just don't get how the Panthers are struggling. And I seriously think Ron Rivera is on the hot seat now. I really do think he is. Because 6-2 season, now you lose 5 in a row. Oh, that's not good. Something's wrong. Something is completely wrong.
Yes, I definitely agree with you. That sort of season going off to a hot start, then losing 5 straight, that definitely puts you on the hot seat in that situation. But, man, the Browns 5-7-1. Do you still think they have a chance at 500 this season?
Yeah, now I do. They don't have to play Pittsburgh the rest of the season. I don't know if they have Cincinnati or anything, but the Browns, yeah, man, they absolutely do. They have Denver coming up this weekend. Of course, they have to go to Denver, but still, I could see them winning that. Absolutely.
Yeah,
and then
Denver's
they have Cincinnati,
struggling too.
and then they have Baltimore to finish out the season. So 3 games that I could easily see them go 500.
Yeah, that's not bad. So the Browns beat the Panthers 26-23. Moving right along to a very, very interesting game. Lamar Jackson starting again over Joe Flacco. And the Ravens put up a fight, but fall short in overtime to the Chiefs, 27-24. Patrick Mahomes in this game, 35 for 53, 377 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. And Lamar Jackson, while he was still playing, 13 for 24, 147 yards, 2 touchdowns. But then apparently he got injured again, and RG3 went 0 for 2 to finish out the game.
Yeah, but who were the Chiefs missing this game, Josh? They were missing Kareem Hunt.
Absolutely.
I can't explain it. Like, defense, Ravens team has a very good defense, but the Chiefs did not have their air attack with Kareem Hunt, nor in the running game as well. I can't believe this. It just shows how much Kareem Hunt means to that team as well. And on top of that, the Ravens defense just needed to hold out one more time. They just needed to hold out. But, of course, Mahomes has an MVP drive. I don't know if you saw the no-look pass that he had.
That was crazy.
He had a no-look pass, and I said, my goodness, just give him the win. I mean, good Lord. But the reason why the Ravens stayed in this game so long, look at that run game. 39 carries, 198 yards. Lamar Jackson, once again, 13 carries, 71 yards. Ty Montgomery, I thought he was supposed to be your starting running back. He's not. He's got 2 carries for 1 yard. And now, the Chiefs, guess who they got on Thursday night? They got Los Angeles Chargers coming to town. I'm calling the upset. I'm calling the upset. I think Los Angeles is going to beat Kansas City tomorrow in Arrowhead Stadium. And the reason is because of just how Los Angeles can match up with them easily without Kareem Hunt. And also, Tyreek Hill is hurt. He's playing, but he's hurt. And that's going to be a big factor if he can't really play his full game. But the difference in this game, Josh, there's no air attack with Lamar Jackson against this team. There was no air attack. And now, Lamar Jackson, Joe Flacco is healthy. Lamar Jackson's getting the starting quarterback position now. They're giving it to Lamar Jackson over Joe Flacco. Do I agree with it? Yes. But in a situation where the Ravens could have taken the lead or tied the game in overtime, Joe Flacco needs to be in there. He's the more experienced quarterback. He has the experience in that, and there's no pressure. And you could sense a little bit that Lamar Jackson was a little bit scared. I really could. It just didn't look as right. But the Chiefs, 11-2 now. What else is new with this season for them? They're just unstoppable right now. But they will not win the playoffs with that defense. I guarantee you that. Yeah. Because it is said you need to run the football and you need to play defense to win in the playoffs. And those are two things that the Kansas City Chiefs do not have at their disposal right now with the loss of Kareem Hunt and that awful defense of the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs win 27-24.
Yeah, so obviously they have suffered the loss of Kareem Hunt. You can see there from the stats, 27 carries, only 94 yards, as compared to Baltimore's 39 carries for 198 yards. But most of that was Lamar Jackson. So definitely suffered a loss there with Kareem Hunt, and Chiefs are battling through, but that was a really, really fun game to watch. Mm-hmm. Moving right along to the Miami Miracle. And CJ, I think you might have a lot to say about this, but seriously, why are you going to have Rob Gronkowski back in the backfield trying to make a tackle on a running back when...
So it's his fault, Josh?
No, I'm just saying...
Okay.
I'm just saying, why did you put Rob Gronkowski back there instead of another safety or something?
Well, the reason is because they expect a Hail Mary play. That's what they expect. They don't expect the hook and ladder on that play. That's why he's back there. The Atlanta Falcons, they put Julio Jones in on Hail Mary situations because they know that he's 6'5" and he can jump up and get the ball. Megatron has been in on many situations.
Yeah, I understand that, but the thing is, he's a tight end.
He's 6'7".
I know, but he's a tight end.
But he's 6'7", Josh. And he's arguably one of the most dominant tight ends we've ever seen. He catches everything in his path. So why would you not? And to say that, like, oh my goodness, why would Bill Belichick do that? It's like, yeah, you were expecting them to have a hook and ladder play work. How about the other 10 guys on the defense learn to freaking tackle? How about you learn to tackle instead of trying to arm tackle him? My goodness. Gronk is the last line of defense. That's why he's in the back. He's 6'7". He's supposed to go up for the jump ball. He is not out there to allow a hook and ladder play to go around the right side of the field, up the sideline, and try and stop a 4-4 40-yard dash player. He is not designed for that. That is not why he was put on the field. Bill Belichick literally said, all right, go out there and try and stop this Hail Mary. That's literally what he said. He did not expect that to happen. How about the other 10 guys who play defense actually stop the guy? And when people were coming out and saying, oh my God, I can't believe Bill Belichick made that call, it's like, what did you just watch? What did you just watch? This is not Bill Belichick's fault. How about Gostowski? You make your points. You missed an extra point and a field goal. There's 4 points right there. Boom. Game's over. This Miami Miracle doesn't happen. This Miami Miracle doesn't happen. But everybody tries to look at the negative of this point instead of looking at the realistic value of this. Gronkowski was there for the Hail Mary, not for the hook and ladder. Not for the hook and ladder. That's the difference between Matt Patricia and the defensive coordinator right now. They didn't expect that. Matt Patricia will call that out in an instant. Watch for the hook and ladder. Watch for it. That is not Bill Belichick to say, hey, Gronk, you're supposed to make a tackle, actually. I know you're a tight end, but you're supposed to actually tackle. No, you're idiots. My goodness. And on top of that, Tom Brady, he was magnificent in this game. 27 of 43, 358 yards and 3 touchdowns. And once again, I'm going to talk about the defense again. Ryan Tannehill only threw the ball 19 times, Josh, for 265 yards. They averaged 9 yards per play. That means that every second down, they get a first down. Every second down, they get a first down. And on top of that, the Patriots, 35 minutes of time of possession. 35 minutes. That means you had the ball for over half the game. And where is the defense on this here? Where's the defense? 265 yards passing for Tannehill, and even 189 yards rushing for the Miami offense. Where's the defense? Where is this? I cannot wait to see this Pittsburgh versus New England game, because I want to see them expose the Patriots again, because 9.2 yards per average. I will say this, though, that the Patriots do not win in Miami. I think they said in the past 6 years, my Patriots have won one time in Miami. They just can't win in Miami. They just can't. And
I just think it was crazy how they did that hook and ladder, and it actually worked. I saw the replay of it, and I was like, wow, what a well-designed play. And Kenyon Drake found some holes. He swerved in and right back out.
He was a kick returner in college for Alabama. He knows how to handle that situation.
Yeah, and just the perfect touch to it was Ian Eagle being in the broadcast booth for that, because he over-exaggerates everything.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, but what if Gus Johnson was in the booth?
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be interesting. But man, the Patriots 9-4, their worst record since like 2011, I want to say. No, excuse me, 2004. Yes, 2004, if I'm correct. Their worst record since 2004. What does that tell you? The Patriots are a darn good football team if that's their worst record since 2004. My goodness. Wow. Yeah. That just goes to show you how great the New England Patriots are. But 34-33, the Dolphins come out on top against the New England Patriots.
Let's get into it, Josh. Let's talk about your boys.
Yep.
Let's talk about them boys.
Where do I start? First off, I was correct. I told you. Saquon Barkley would run all over the Redskins.
And it happened.
And it happened. And thanks for putting in that stat. I don't even know where Saquon Barkley's stat is, but total 34 carries for 227 yards. Washington, 22 carries for 84 yards. Like, seriously, really, this season's just a bust.
So, Barkley, 14 carries, 170.
Yep.
14 carries, 170.
Told you.
Continue, though.
Yeah, but, man, I mean, I knew we were going to lose this game, and I was right. Mark Sanchez did an absolutely terrible job. Like, 2 interceptions, only 38 yards, 6 for 14. And he threw an interception that got tipped, walked in for a pick 6, and throws another one. And Jay Gruden was right in putting in Josh Johnson, because after that 40-0 going into the fourth quarter, Kyle Lauletta plays, and he doesn't really
FCS guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and he doesn't do that well. They punt, and Josh Johnson goes on a 16-0 run. He rushes for a touchdown, and he throws a deep touchdown to Jamison Crowder. So there was some hope there, but I'm still not convinced, because I guarantee you the Giants put in backups on defense. That's my only explanation, because why would the Redskins be playing this good towards the end?
Let me be very clear. You know, I went off on my rant about them hiring Josh Johnson. I never said that he was a bad player. I know that he's a very versatile player. He has the running ability. But the man has played for 12 teams in his entire NFL career. 12 teams since he came into the NFL. And he hasn't thrown a ball since 2011, Josh. That's why I was upset. Now, clearly, he still has some left in the tank, and he showed that this game. 11 for 16, 195 yards and a touchdown. Congratulations. You scored 16 points. I want to get off your Redskins, though, because Saquon Barkley is the real freaking deal, man.
Yes, sir, he is.
I can't say it enough. He's the offensive rookie of the year, and man, just imagine if this guy had the Dallas offensive line. Just imagine if this guy had an offensive line, Phillies, Pittsburghs, you name it, one of the top offensive lines. Just imagine how dominant this guy would be. He is the perfect example of Barry Sanders with a lot more muscle strength. Barry Sanders, his thing was always making guys miss, make the first guy miss, and be able to outrun defenders. That's what Saquon can do. And what can he also do? He can hurdle, he can truck, he can catch, he can do everything. He is the perfect running back for the NFL. When people said, like, Todd Gurley and Ezekiel Elliott came out of college, yeah, sure, they were good running backs. But Saquon Barkley, when he came out of college, you could not deny his ability on the field. You can't deny it. That's all I want to say, though, about the Giants is that they have a special talent player, and they better revolve their team around that guy. They better. Because Eli Manning, he's getting older. They need to rely on the run game. Saquon Barkley is the right man for the job. He is.
I agree 100%. But going back to the Redskins, I honestly believe their season is over. And
Yes.
honestly, at this point in the future, I hope by the end of the season, Jay Gruden gets fired and Bruce Allen gets fired, because that's just...
We'll get into that later, though, on my rant. We'll get into that later.
Oh, yeah.
But
I did not know this, but
I did agree.
I still think that Jay Gruden is definitely on the hot seat. And Bruce Allen, he's on the short list for Oakland because they just got rid of their GM. So he might be going to Oakland. So I don't know. This season's just over for the Washington Redskins. And moving forward, next week they play Jacksonville.
Yeah.
That could be a win, but I don't think so. Josh Johnson has been named the 4th starter this season. 4th starter this season. What does that have to tell you? But I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. I watched the game and I was like, I really don't care. I know they would lose. And I knew Saquon would have a great game, and great job to Saquon. He had an amazing game. And Saquon is the right man for the job. But 40-16, the Washington Redskins get not stunned at home. But I mean, I knew it was good. They were going to lose. So, anyways, moving on here, the Colts and the Texans. The Colts 24, the Texans 21. Wow.
9-game win streak gone, man. There you go. It's done and over with. And this is a Colts team that got shut out by Jacksonville. They lost 6-0 against Jacksonville.
But they beat Washington.
So, but let's I want to talk about the game that's coming up next week a little bit. Because guess who comes to Indianapolis? Oh, Dallas. They're going to come into Andrew Luck's house. Congratulations on your defense there at home. Because guess who you got to play against? Probably a future MVP in Andrew Luck now coming up here. But that's on to next week. I really am shocked here, Josh. You stopped the Texans from winning 10 in a row. They won 9 in a row. Andrew Luck comes into town, throws for almost 400 yards against a fantastic defense. And yet there was no running game here for Indy. 23 carries total, 50 yards total. They still won. Andrew Luck, 27 of 41 for 399 yards and 2 touchdowns and an interception. Deshaun Watson, 27 of 38, 267 yards and a touchdown. So he did all he could, I guess. But throwing for almost 400 yards, that ain't going to get you a win. The reason I'm talking about this game is because you stopped a 9-game win streak. That's huge for a team that's going to make the playoffs, most likely. They are going to make the playoffs, most likely. Mm-hmm. And T.Y. Hilton, man, it's good to see him playing good again. 9 catches for 199 yards. 9 catches for 199 yards. I know he's got the speed, but your average of 22 yards a catch, you got to stop him somehow, man. You got to stop him. The Colts, I hope you take care of Dallas next week because I'm tired of the talk. Because coming up right next, we're going to talk about how overrated this Cowboys team is. But continue, Josh.
Yeah, but the Texans, man, I thought they were going to win this game, and the Colts, 7-6. They have a chance. I think they're going to make a wild card spot at least. And The Texans, I still think they have a chance at the playoffs. I'm not sure.
They're in first place of their division, of course.
Yep,
They do.
yep, that's right. Haven't been doing my homework, darn it. But yeah, first place in their division, and Andrew Luck, 399 yards, and their run game, not so good. But Andrew Luck got the job done in the air. Amazing. But we're moving on. The Colts 24, Texans 21. In America's Game of the Week on Fox, the Cowboys 29, the Eagles 23 in overtime. Man, defender, swat the ball down and not swat it up. And, oh my gosh. Wow. I mean, kudos. That was a great way to end the game. But really, the Eagles had a chance, and he didn't swat the ball down.
Are you really going to get mad at a guy who played probably the best game of his career, Rasul Douglas? He had an interception. He made tackles. He was a difference maker on that Eagles defense. Are you really going to discount that, Josh?
No, I'm not, but just swat the ball down. How hard is that?
Okay. Okay. You make it sound like it's so easy, but let's get into this.
The ball comes towards you. Bang.
Let's get into this.
Oh, my God.
Congrats, Dallas. You beat a team that you were supposed to beat. You beat a team that was 6-6, has a depleted secondary, and has a quarterback now that is probably not going to play the rest of the season in Carson Wentz. And the Eagles came out in this game and they said, okay, we got nothing to lose. We know our season is basically screwed. We're going to come out here and we're going to be the underdogs once again, even counting back to last year's Super Bowl. The Eagles literally had 256 yards of total offense, and they took the Cowboys to overtime. What does that say about the Cowboys? You guys are so overrated.
They're not that good.
No, they're not. I'm well aware. The Cowboys had 576 yards of total offense, and they still took them to overtime. They had to take them to overtime. Dak Prescott was facing a secondary that was plagued by injuries, and he still threw 2 interceptions against a depleted defense. Once again, though, I am going to talk about it, though. What is up with this officiating? What is up? What is the deal here? What is up with this? Not a clear recovery? Not a clear recovery? What is this rule? There has to be a clear recovery of the ball. And yet, the guy, I know he pulled the ball out with his hand and he held it up in the air because he actually got it and Eagles players were all around him. But first down, Dallas. What is that call? What is this call? You want to start off the game right? Congratulations, Dallas. Make all the excuses you want. That is a terrible call. That is a terrible call. Congratulations. That changes the game completely because you get the momentum on the first play of the game. It was on the kickoff that this happened. Man, could you imagine if the Patriots had these calls going for them? If that was the Patriots that was playing, they would say, there goes Bill Belichick again paying those refs. Man, whew. Those cheatriots, man. Those freaking cheaters out there, I tell you what. But no one says it when it happens to Dallas. It's Jerry's world, baby. It's Jerry's world. Why? America's team, right? Joke, man. Oh, this is terrible. And then the pass interference call
on Dallas Goedert. Jinx, yummy soda.
So wait a minute. You're telling me that a tight end who uses his body and uses his skills as a tight end to separate from the defender
and
off
get away.
The line of the scrimmage.
There was no way that was a pass interference.
And he doesn't even use his arms. He just gets under him and dips out. That is pass interference. It's Jerry's world, baby, isn't it? My goodness. It's officiating, man. How can, as a Dallas Cowboy fan, you sit up there, and even Troy Aikman said it, what is that call? What is that call? This is a man who won you guys 3 Super Bowls. What is that call? What is this game, man? I can't believe that you Cowboy fans are so jubilated that you beat a team by 6 points after you had the ball. I am not joking with this stat I am about to say. They had the ball for 45 minutes. That means the Eagles literally had it for 15 minutes in the game, and they took them to overtime. They took them to overtime when they had the ball for 15 minutes. Let me look it up here. I want to see it. Oh, I want to see how many drives these guys have had. So you're telling me that Dallas gave the ball back to them 11 times. Philly had the ball for 11 times, and they only amassed 15 minutes time of possession. You guys are so overrated. These guys are so overrated, it's not even funny.
So what is this, 3 weeks in a row that a call was missed?
This is 4 weeks. The 2 targeting calls, the Washington game, and then the New Orleans game, and then also the bad officiating in the Pittsburgh-Los Angeles game, and now this. What is going on here?
I was talking about just the Dallas. So
okay,
3 weeks in a row.
3 weeks. No, there was one missed week, but three and 4 weeks that these calls, and they've all been in Dallas.
That's crazy.
They've all been in Dallas' stadium. I don't know. I'm not making any excuses here. You don't win by the refs. You don't. You have to play football every single down. But, man, it is a gut-wrencher when you notice that the refs basically just screwed you and you have to go out there and say, guys, we ain't got a chance now. Like, how are we supposed to come back from that? How are we supposed to? Dak Prescott, 42 of 54.
For almost 500 yards.
And you took him to overtime. 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Philly, though, they didn't even establish the run game. Oh, my God. Just looking at these stats, you're so overrated. They only have 14 carries for 34 yards. And they still took you to overtime. Dallas had 36 carries, 142 yards total. I'm done talking, Josh. I hope Indianapolis shuts you fans up and literally makes you go, wow, we really are overrated. Because you are. Because, as I said before at the beginning, you need to run the ball and play defense to make it into the playoffs. I mean, to make it far into the playoffs. But right now, they're the number 4 seed. If they have to go to L.A., New Orleans, or Soldier Field in Chicago, they don't have a chance.
They beat New Orleans in the regular season, don't forget that.
At Dallas. You're telling me that they can go to the Mercedes-Benz Superdome when the Saints fans are riling that offense up? No, they don't have a chance. They don't have a chance.
Yeah. My thing in this game, the stats are so lopsided. This should have been a game the Cowboys crushed the Eagles. And you go to overtime. My goodness. I mean, I hate the Cowboys, but seriously, if you're going to win a game, these stats, and you get to overtime, and you win the game off a lucky tip ball off somebody's arm.
It literally came down to luck as well in overtime.
Because that ball could have just as easily been swatted down.
Or intercepted.
Yes. So I don't know. But this just goes to show you how bad the NFC East is. Right now, the New York Giants are the best team in the NFC East right now. Despite their record, Saquon Barkley is doing an excellent job. They are turning things around. I don't know if you like what I said there, but they are the best team in the NFC East despite their record.
I agree. Okay.
Yeah, so
now it's time
to
move on.
Yeah, we're going to move on here. 29-23, Dallas over Philly, and John Gruden is celebrating with the fans, but you all are 3-10. I don't even know what to say. You celebrate with the fans over 3 wins. And your GM's gone. And Oakland's suing you. Because
just keep it.
Yeah, but you're getting sued by Oakland.
My Steelers.
And you're celebrating this big over a win against the Steelers. Yeah, I don't know, but I think John Gruden should have directly went into the locker room, said, great job, but we need to get something going for next week so we can keep a win streak going. But I know you have a lot to say about the Steelers. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm going to go into the stats here real quick, but this loss, yeah, it's a bad loss, but I look at it like this. If Roethlisberger doesn't get hurt and he doesn't go out for most of the second half, we win the game. We do. Because Josh Dobbs threw the ball 9 times. He only completed 4 passes. Roethlisberger was 25 of 29 for 289 yards and 2 touchdowns. He played a fantastic game, Josh. And I say this because I know Connor was missed in this game, James Conner. 40 yards is not going to get the job done on the ground game. But as I said, Roethlisberger had a great game, but it wasn't enough. And even the Raiders had 13 penalties for 130 yards. They were undisciplined, and they still won. But I'm telling you that the Raiders got lucky that Roethlisberger was hurt. I'm telling you that right now. You have to look at it from a realistic standpoint. But it's rant time now, people. When I see Steeler fans calling for Mike Tomlin to be fired because of this game, are you serious? All right, let's go down the list here of NFL head coaches that should be fired. Let's
Jay
go ahead.
Gruden.
Jay
Jay
Gruden's in
Gruden,
there.
number one.
Ron Rivera actually should be in that conversation, but he is in a struggling season. I can't believe that people were saying that Mike Tomlin should be fired when Marvin Lewis is still the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. That is an absolute joke when I hear that. But let's continue now, shall we? And let's go on down to Mr. Oh, I don't know. Let's keep on going. Let's keep on going here. I'm serious. I haven't found one yet. Dirk Cotter? Yeah, he should be fired from Tampa Bay. Absolutely. I don't understand this.
Marvin Lewis, Jay Gruden.
Jason Garrett? You don't think that Jason Garrett should be fired for mediocrity of the Cowboys?
Well,
Todd Bowles.
He's not going to get fired.
I know he's not, but it's Todd Bowles from New York as well. Bowles. Sorry, excuse me.
But
Mike Tomlin has never had a losing record as a head coach. How long have you been a Redskins fan, Josh?
Since I can remember.
Since you can remember. My brother has been an Eagles fan since he can remember as well. You guys grew up watching, I'm sure, many losing seasons of the Redskins.
Yeah.
And the Eagles. I cannot believe how ungrateful Steeler fans is. Why is it that NFL fans want to be like the New England Patriots? Why is it that if you're not winning a Super Bowl every other year, you need to be fired on the spot right then and there? Oh my God. My brother endured many, many losing seasons as an Eagles fan.
Hey, same here.
Until last year when they won the Super Bowl. And how many times have Eagle fans packed Lincoln Financial Field just wanting to see their team win? And seeing them win last year for that city was fantastic. Enduring many years of just failure. The Redskins, you guys have won 3 Super Bowls. The Eagles have not. And to see that, so let me ask you this. How is a fan of these teams supposed to live then? Bengals, Bills, Browns, Cardinals, Chargers, Falcons, Jaguars, Lions, Panthers, Texans, Titans, and Vikings. So you're telling me that those are fans of teams that have never won a Super Bowl. Fans of the Jaguars, Lions, and Texans and Browns have never been to a Super Bowl. So you're telling me that the Steelers are calling for Mike Tomlin to be fired when he has never had a losing record as a head coach. He has had 12 above average or average seasons as a head coach in the NFL. He has been to 2 Super Bowls. He's won 1 in 2008. And you're telling me, here are Mike Tomlin's records, Josh, when he came into as a head coach for the Steelers. 10-6, 12-4, Super Bowl victory that year. 8-8, 12-4, 12-4, 8-8, 8-8, 11-5, 11-5, and 13-3. And they're calling for his head, man. They're calling for his head. You Steeler fans, Go away. Seriously, go be a bandwagon of the Chiefs or the Patriots. I'm serious. Because at least you'll love your team winning. Because I said it before. Why is it that every bandwagon fan wants us to be like the Patriots? Why do you fans want us to be like the Patriots? You know why the Patriots win every single year? Because they're a fundamentally sound football team every single year. The Steelers, we make mistakes. I'm going to continue to be a Steelers fan because Mike Tomlin and Ben Roethlisberger are a great combo together. Mike Tomlin has been the third head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers since 1969. The Steelers have only had 3. How many head coaches have you been through in your lifetime, Josh, as a Redskins fan?
Oh, wow. Well, let's see. Jay Gruden, Mike Shanahan, Jim Zorn.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, Jim Zorn.
Keep her going.
Vince Lombardi was on the Redskins once upon a time.
I mean, during your lifetime.
Joe
Gibbs.
Joe Gibbs.
Twice, I think.
Yeah, twice. He left and came back.
So you've had 4 head coaches in your lifetime?
It was Joe Gibbs, then Joe Gibbs to, I think, Jim Zorn to Mike Shanahan.
Okay.
Mike Shanahan to Jay Gruden.
So we'll say 4 then in your lifetime. The Steelers, in my lifetime, have had 2 head coaches.
Bill Cowher and Mike Tomlin.
Bill Cowher and Mike Tomlin. No one, in my mind, is calling for, in my recollection, was calling for Bill Cowher to be fired. Why are they calling Mike Tomlin to be fired?
I really disagree with that because Mike Tomlin, he knows how to run a football team. Mike Tomlin is a really great coach, and I will have lost respect for the Steelers if they go ahead and
Oh, they're not going to fire him, though. They aren't, because the Rooney family knows what the hell they're doing. I had it up and close and personal in the Ravens-Steelers game, Josh. Mike Tomlin has this energy about him when he's on the sideline with his players. Hey, B, how we doing today? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You ready to go, man? You ready to go? I love you, brother. Let's get this win. And he will say that to every single player. The fans up in the stands don't see that. I saw that. That's what you want from a coach. You don't want a coach who's distant or just cares about if he's going to get his next paycheck or not. The Steelers lose 24-21 against the Raiders, Josh. I'm done talking about it because I'm sick of Steelers fans right now who have no idea what it is to be a football coach and have no idea what the heck they are talking about with with football. They have no idea. They are ungrateful and deserve to just go away. Just don't be a Steelers fan anymore. Any Steelers fans watching out there or listening, seriously, consider it. Go. I don't want you anywhere near this great franchise that has won 6 Super Bowls, the most in NFL history, and you're going to be ungrateful to that. Go away.
Well, moving right along here, that was a great rant, by the way, and you got it right. Can you go 2-0 starting this week on Thursday night? The Bears and the Rams. And you were right, CJ. The Rams lost. Jared Goff, a career-high 4 interceptions in this game. And the defense for the Bears is the real deal, but I think we all already knew that.
The cold weather plays a factor here, Josh. I told you it would. You're in sunny Los Angeles, and you got to go to a cold, windy city in Chicago when that defense is feeding off of the stadium. When I was watching that game, Akeem Hicks was doing this the whole time, just sticking his hands up in the air saying, I want more. I want more, because welcome to December in Soldier Field. Welcome to December. You can't beat it. Feeding off of the crowd's energy, and the high-powered Rams got stumped, and that's why defense wins championships. Todd Gurley, though, where was he in this game? 11 carries for 28 yards? Todd Gurley is an MVP candidate, man. Where are you? Why is he not getting the ball? In cold weather games, you know how you combat cold weather games? You run the football. That's what you're supposed to do. Jared Goff is not supposed to throw it 44 times and 4 interceptions. Guess what the Bears did? They ran the football because Mitchell Trubisky had one of his worst games ever in this game. He threw 3 interceptions. Mitch Trubisky threw 3 interceptions. No one's talking about that. They're just talking about the Bears defense because they shut him out of touchdowns. There's no touchdowns. But what did the Bears do that was different? They ran the football. 35 carries, 194 yards. Jordan Howard over 100 yards rushing. The Bears keep the train rolling with this defense, man. You guys have it. You guys have this. In the NFC, to be able to play defense right now is killer. And you proved it against what was considered the best Monday Night Football game we've ever seen between the Chiefs and the Rams. You stopped the team that won that game and held them to 6 points.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but this game was obviously really sloppy.
Of course.
It was 6-6 at halftime, if I recall correctly. And
so a defensive slugfest either way,
yeah,
but still.
No, defense was the main factor in this game because probably the cold weather and sloppiness from the game, it made great football because of the low-scoring game, if you know what I mean. But anything else on this game?
No, I've gone on my rants enough.
Yep. That's our NFL breakdown. Other scores for you from this past weekend of NFL action. We got New Orleans and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay was actually up in this game.
Yes, they
Then
were.
the Saints come back and win.
Yep.
And Green Bay beats Atlanta. But a funny story with this game, their interim head coach.
He wasted 2 timeouts in the first minute and a half with challenges.
2 failed challenges. With like 14-30. No, excuse me. Like
a minute and a half into the game, they lost 2 challenges.
Yes. Yeah, 14-35 if I remember correctly. Seriously.
Hey, they still won the game. So
oh my gosh.
He could care less.
The Jets and the Bills 27-23. The Chargers over the Bengals 26-21. Kyle Shanahan's 49ers 20 over the Denver Broncos 14. Detroit over Arizona. Wow, what a joke.
What a game.
Yeah, what a game. And the Monday night game, Kirk Cousins' record still lives on as a terrible Monday Night Football player, 21-7 in that game. And John DeFilippo gets fired. His first year as the Vikings OC, and they feel they need a change already. So that's your Week 14 recap. I have some breaking news now directly from my Apple Watch about 10 minutes ago. The Cincinnati Reds acquire Nationals pitcher Tanner Roark through a trade in the winter meetings. Wow. I haven't talked about the Nats that much. You probably don't know anything about the Pirates, but the Nats, I don't think they're re-signing Harper. Mark Lerner said the best we could give him was 10 years, $300 million. If you pass up on that, Bryce, I love you, but good luck wherever you're going. Because, I mean, is it just me or is DC teams really just not willing to pay good players the money to stay? You've seen it with Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, he's not really that good, but he made some good progress with the Redskins, and then he gets shipped off to Minnesota. Bryce Harper, I don't really know, but the Nats, they managed to pick up Patrick Corbin. That's great for the rotation. Amazing. They have Scherzer, they have Corbin, they have Strasburg. That's what's going to strengthen this team. And I think with the young talent in Juan Soto and Robles and all the young talent that's coming up, Soto especially, I think Bryce Harper, he won't be missed that much. Yes, he will be missed, but I think we're not going to have an issue winning baseball games without Bryce Harper. Your thoughts on Bryce Harper? I'm sure you heard a lot about it, but any thoughts from you?
Yeah, $300 million. I'd sign right away. That's just me.
Yeah.
$300 million. My goodness, man. How could you tear that down? Turn that down, man. What? That's all I have to say on that, though. But
Yeah, but other than that, I know we have some more college football to talk
just a little
about.
bit, yeah.
James Madison. Let's hear it.
Well, as of this past week, Coach Houston, as we know, is officially the head football coach at ECU. And this past week, he took his entire staff with him. And
Yeah, that's crazy. Why would you take an entire staff down there with you?
well, all of his assistant coaches is what I meant.
Is that normal?
Oh, yes, absolutely. It's absolutely. That's what
I
happened.
just find it mind-blowing that a whole football organization coaching staff can get shattered into pieces by one person leaving.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And what I have to say is good luck. I wish you all the best because I had the pleasure of working with the defensive coaches, especially at James Madison, and I wish them well because they are some of the greatest minds in all of college football. They really are. And I wish them the best of luck, and I hope they turn around this program. So go Pirates, and good luck to you.
Hey, and you can just say they're in the FBS now.
Mm-hmm.
FBS. You can say, I won a national championship with that man.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
So-
can go down there, probably get special sideline passes from old Mikey Houston, and
Let's move on.
yeah,
North Dakota State.
their head coach is leaving.
Yep. This man is probably about to win his 7th national championship this year. They play South Dakota State this Friday on ESPN2, and they have the potential to go back to Frisco once again to win their 7th national championship in 8 years. Just think about that. 7th national championship in 8 years. But after this season, Chris Kleiman is going to be heading to Kansas State, and I don't blame him. Move on in his career, move up to a great FBS program in Kansas State, and move on in his career. But we're going to move on now to the Heisman Trophy.
Kyler Murray.
And
I know it.
I completely agree. I completely agree with this. He is 100% the best player in college football. And it's a disgrace to see what happened to him after he received the most prestigious honor in college football. Some media outlet out there, I did not read all the details, exposed Kyler Murray, putting out tweets of Kyler Murray back when he was 13 or 14 years old, and there was homosexual discrimination. There was, explicit language. He's 13 years old. He has no idea what in the world he's talking about when he's 13 years old. So why in the world, on the most important night of this young man's career, is this stuff coming out? This media outlet and anyone who shames this guy for everything he said 8 years ago, you are inhumane. That is absolutely inhumane. It really irritates me, Josh, when we like to, on the best night of this young man's career, we like to think of the negatives to bring this man down. And I hate that about our society. I really do. That we always try to bring down people, even on their greatest day. Even on their greatest day. It is absolutely ridiculous. People will find out the smallest thing about a person to try and bring them down. He was 13 years old. And he had to publicly come out and apologize on Twitter, saying, I apologize for what I said 8 years ago. You don't have to apologize for anything. These people who came out and put these tweets, yeah, you're perfect human beings, aren't you? You sit in your little cubby at home and you don't swear, you don't drink, you don't go out, you don't do anything. You just look up tweets like a freaking loser. You just stay at home and look up tweets from 8 years ago like a freaking loser. You guys are such losers. I cannot believe this. You guys looked up tweets from 8 years ago and said, I'll show this guy. I'll show him real good. This Heisman winner, he can go suck it. You guys are such losers. To actually think that is going to change this man's best night of his entire career.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray, great winner. But let's move on to the Army-Navy game.
No. But before we do that, there was a similar example actually last season. Tweets surfaced Trey Turner.
And also DiVincenzo from Villanova, the basketball player from Villanova's men's basketball team. And he was basically, I think he was 15 years old, and these tweets came out. It's like, why are these surfacing? Why is it that these people have to surface these to try and get their head and say, like, haha, I screwed you over. I made your life hell. Why? Why is this happening? And yes, Trey
Turner, same situation pretty much.
These people are such losers. They spend hours to try and find the smallest detail about these players. Let's move on to a better topic. The Army versus Navy game. Army gets their third straight Commander-in-Chief trophy, beating the Navy Rams
17-7.
17-13 this past week.
Oh, I thought it was 17-7.
And
I didn't even watch the game, so.
And now Army, actually it was 17-10. Excuse me, my apologies.
17-10.
They finished 10-2, the Black Knights, and now they're going to go to a bowl game. Navy, they finished 3-10. Not the best season for the midshipmen. Not the best season. But this game, I just want to talk about the uniforms because those uniforms were on fire. The black uniforms dedicated to the big red one, first to the fight, the 1st Infantry Division for Army were fantastic. And then Navy's helmets having the blue and then the gold chrome face masks. Oh my God, they were beautiful. They were beautiful. What a game. It wasn't the most exciting game, only 17-10, but they both run the same offense. They know each other very well, both triple option offenses. Now, Army gets their third straight Commander-in-Chief trophy. Congratulations to Army. And let's move on to our final topic here, Josh.
Well, you're moving way too fast. But anyways, interesting point with this game. Donald, did you watch the whole game first off?
I watched most of it.
Okay. Did you see the coin flip? Donald Trump's flick of the
Yes,
wrist?
I did.
That was pretty funny. But another thing, the gentleman who escorted Donald Trump for the coin toss, his name is Darrell Williams. He is the superintendent at West Point for the Army. Mm-hmm. Fun fact, my dad went to Mount Vernon High School in Alexandria, Virginia, graduated in the same class with the superintendent of West Point, Darrell Williams. He led Mount Vernon High School's basketball team to a state championship. So, fun fact there. I mean, it was random, but something sports. But moving right along to our last topic. Take it away, CJ.
So, just today, we received an article from The Athletic stating that officials of the Committee for the College Football Playoff are now in talks for an 8-team playoff coming soon.
Oh, please let that happen.
And it could most likely happen in 2020. I can't explain how happy this makes me because of seeing how I don't understand how a 4-team playoff was just the answer back when it was implemented. Why did it take over 4 years for this to happen to even be in the consideration for an 8-team playoff? Now, oh my goodness. It's a shame, though. It's a shame that UCF would have been in that 8-team playoff this season had it happened this year, Josh, because they're number 7 in the country right now in the college football playoff. And they're going to win 20. They've won 27 games in a row. I'm going to say it again. They will declare themselves the national champions once again if they beat LSU on the New Year's 6. They will declare themselves the back-to-back national champions. because if they win, they will have won 28 games in a row. And they still don't get a shot at the national championship. Thank God they are changing this to an 18 playoff, because I'm getting sick and tired of seeing Alabama versus Clemson every single year. For the past 4 seasons, we have seen a variation of Alabama versus Clemson. 2 years in a row in the national championship final. Last year in the semifinal. Maybe in the national championship this year. 4 years in a row. How is that fair to any other team out there who just wants to play in the national championship? Make it an 18 playoff, and it better come next year or the next, because this is getting ridiculous. If I see Alabama versus Clemson again, that is going to drop the ratings 100%, because teams are like, I don't want to see this for a 4th year in a row in the national championship final again. All right, Josh.
Yeah, so going off track here a little bit, I actually had a question for you.
Yeah.
Going into the bowl games, what do you think of these big name guys saying they're going to skip the bowl games so they can prepare themselves for the draft, I assume? Will Greer said he was doing it. I don't really understand why they do this. Do you agree with what they're doing?
Okay. I have a scenario for this, because bowl games to these players are just exhibition games. They really are. They don't matter. They don't matter to these players.
You just won a trophy, but
you just win a trophy. That's all you get. And on top of that, Will Greer, I got 2 words for you. Washington Redskins. He is the perfect quarterback to bring onto that team.
Amen.
And it's not that far from Morgantown, West Virginia. And to be able to sit out this game when he's got a wife and a daughter, I don't blame him. Now, here's the other scenario, though. If he was playing for a national championship, like in the college football playoff, and said, I'm going to sit out and have my draft stock saved for the NFL draft, that is an issue in my mind. Because I understand that some of these players, they're battling through injuries. Christian McCaffrey was one of the reasons. He was battling an ankle injury all season. This year, Nick Bosa had to have surgery on his abdominal area. And I understand why he wouldn't want to risk that again and go into the NFL. I understand that. But if you're not hurt and you're not going to play for your team to try and win a national championship, that sends red flags all the way to the NFL saying, I can see this guy really just cares about getting the money more than anything. But for Will Greer, it's a different scenario for him, because like I said, the Camping World Bowl, I don't blame him at all for not wanting to play in an exhibition game like that. And to say I could be the starting quarterback for the Washington Redskins and set my family up for life, I don't blame him. I don't blame these big guys for trying to want to set themselves up for life, unless there's a scenario where, as I said, their team makes it into the top 4 and they're going to play for a national championship. That's when it's a red flag to me. But that's my answer.
Yeah, so Will Greer to the Redskins, if they can make this happen somehow, I think Alex Smith's done once again, and I just think they're going to have to restructure with Alex Smith in order to do anything picking up a quarterback-wise in the draft. I hope you agree with me on this, but I think the Redskins put too much money into Alex Smith, and he breaks his leg. And what are they going to do? Like, seriously, if they can't pick up a quarterback in the draft, that's what I'm afraid of. And we're going to do something stupid and break our salary cap limit or something. I don't want that to happen again. Remember last year when we broke our salary cap and got almost nothing?
No, I don't.
You don't?
No.
Apparently, when you go over the salary cap limit and you get penalized. And, I think they got penalized in draft picks. I think it was because of RG3. We traded so many first-round picks or something. I don't even remember, but the Redskins got penalized for going over their cap space. And I just don't want that to happen again. I'm not sure if you have anything to say about that, but I just think the Redskins need to change all in around, and I think Will Grier would be a perfect quarterback fit for the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, hopefully by the end of this week, Dan Snyder will be gone. No, yeah, Dan Snyder, hopefully, yeah, but he's the owner, so how can you kick the owner off? Seriously. But fun fact before we get off, did you know the Green Bay Packers are owned by the fans?
Yes.
That's crazy. So how the heck are they going to do anything if they decide to fire their GM?
I couldn't tell you, Josh.
Yeah, but we're getting on a lot of bunny trails, but I think that will do it for episode 17 of the Josh Kirby on Sports podcast. Any last words, CJ?
My voice is gone once again.
No.
It was nice talking with you.
Yeah, definitely. Always a pleasure. And make sure you find us on our social medias, as always. Facebook at the Josh Kirby, at Kirby on Sports Podcast, Twitter at Kirby on Sports, our Instagram page at the Josh Kirby on Sports Podcast. And make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, the Josh Kirby on Sports Podcast. Make sure you email us as well at kirbyonsports@gmail.com. Once again, thank you to Dave Johnson for our wonderful intro, and thank you to Free Forever by Jam Studio, premiumbeat.com. Thanks again for that. And until next time, me and CJ say so long. Until next week, we will catch you next time. I hope you all have a great rest of your week, and we will see you next time on the next episode of the Josh Kirby on Sports Podcast. Peace out.